Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Boy, I sound hot this morning, don't I? And I don't mean like hot. I mean like hot mic. Turn my volume down on my head. It's just my head. The sickness, the cold has moved to my head now. So I'm like, yeah.
I
All
know
right.
the I know the feeling. I've been there.
Yeah. So before I get started on the game, before I get started on the game, now explained this over the last couple days. Explained it before the recap yesterday. I'm sick. I'm irritable as hell. So take it with a grain of salt, I suppose. But a couple things need mentioning. First of all, I talked a little bit about this last night in the recap. I'm just going to make this real short. The chats in the live streams, every other time, over and above, everybody has been really, really cool. Now, yesterday, I was not in my normal position on the couch because Kyle was running it for me. And specifically, one individual, and then people were fighting, but specifically one individual, let's just say there's trash talk, and then there's consistent and constant and persistent trolling of every possible situation and person, and um, then getting into the personal insults, etc., etc. Now I wasn't there to see it all, and then Kyle mentioned something that it was happening. I saw a little bit of it. Not gonna tolerate it. So I appreciate everybody that comes out to the streams. Trash talk between fan bases on an occasional comment here or there is fine, but if you're only on the stream to troll, the next time I'm just going to remove you permanently from the channel, the end. So if you're there to have a good time and just got carried away, we all do it. But if that's your only reason for being there, I suppose you'll start right in at the start of game 5, and I will just ban you from the channel. The second thing is, and I'm not going to go, I had a whole rant. I'm not going to go onto a whole rant. I will say two things. I do, at minimum, this is a Panthers channel. Okay, I do football, I do hockey, but it's a Panthers channel. I do at minimum 5 hours of content for every game for the Florida Panthers. So if in the middle of my post game in a recap, I get a stat about the league or a specific team wrong, if you want to correct me politely and respectfully, I got no problem with that. But if you start throwing out this guy don't know hockey, do you even watch hockey? You start throwing that stuff out, the comment's going to get deleted because I'm not going to tolerate that. Because number one, based on my analytics, there's at least a 60 to 70% chance I'm old enough to be your father. So respect your elders. And number two, it's a Panthers channel that does as much NHL content as I possibly can. So if you want to correct me, that's I'm not going to get it all right. I'm not going to know every. I'm not the hockey guy. I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of the game because that's the. And I'm not saying this with disrespect, but because that's the only thing that I'm doing. I have other businesses that I run. Shannon is a unique individual who works. I would be dead if I worked this. I don't know how he does it. He's a robot. I'm convinced. So that's a compliment, not a complaint. So I'm not going to get everything right. But if you're gonna be a smart ass Brad about it, I'm just gonna remove your ass from the channel too, because I work too hard to put up with bullshit from people that are just new and coming on just to give me shit. Good morning, Stu.
Morning, Eric. Well said. And you're right. This is Flying Fluffy Sports, which I always call Flying Fluffy Hockey, the number one Panther fan podcast in the world. Just hit 6,500 subscribers. And you're right. There's no place for disrespect on this channel.
Right.
Disrespect to you, disrespect to any other member. I kind of consider our little community like a family.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, So that being said, obviously I was at the game, so I wasn't on the stream. Um, so yeah, people that are attacking people, there's no place for it. And you know what's great? This is your channel. You can say adios, amigo.
Right.
You want to be disrespectful to the members in this group or the channel? Bye bye. We don't need you. Okay.
Okay.
Now, we usually have a couple of minutes before we hit record where we just kind of banter. What we didn't do that today.
Yeah.
And right before I got my computer set up, I watch Eric's recap. You know what's uncanny? If I hadn't watched Eric's recap, I basically would have done Eric's recap. And I will say this, I get things wrong as well. Stats, whatever. Sometimes, I'm going to be 65 in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you know what I mean? There's a lot of shit in my head. So if I get something wrong, okay, it happens. And if you want to correct me, and I did that a couple of months ago, there was some guy that was calling me out. You want to do it, do it in a respectful way.
That's it.
And if I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. Okay, so what's cool is, and I'm not bragging, but basically Eric and I know our shit, and we kind of like hit on the same things, which is like wild. Because I'm watching the recap, I'm like, holy shit, that's what I said, or that's what I saw.
Right.
There was a couple of things which I'll mention, that I want to add my little take on things. But first, it's shout out time. Okay, I got to take a couple of minutes to shout out to a few people because they're nice enough to come up to me and say, hey, love the channel, love the content. But first thing, Brad and Saw, thanks for driving to the game. Mark, we got our little crew now that, we drive to the game and whatnot. We went to Flanagan's for dinner, had some fun. Paul, my man Paul was there. And so Paul's got this thing, I don't know, about going downstairs to do this. They call it like the high five club or whatever. So basically you're kind of against the barrier and you're standing outside and it's like a freaking hour wait. So when the players come out for the game, you get to high five them. All right. So I call it the caboose. I kind of caboosed my way down there. And, one of the girls, one of the Panther ticket reps, and I was telling her, look, I worked for the team, blah, blah, blah. And anyway, I made it down there and the players come out and, they're so focused. And I was actually going to try and get Ekblad's attention.
No, really? Who would have
and just say, look, I'm sorry I've been roasting you. Go out and score a goal for me tonight. But he comes out right after Bob and, his face is all focused and he didn't even look at me. So anyway, that was fun. So other shout outs. So there's this kid, I'm walking into my, to my section and this kid Nintendo comes up to me and says, hey man, love the channel, blah, blah, blah. So, okay. So shout out to you. Esoteric Veritas. Tom's cool. Always there. Now I gave him my number. Now he's abusing it because he's texting me every couple of minutes. Of seconds. And I got to tell you, when I'm at the game, don't bother me. I'm focused. Okay?
Oh yeah, now during the can I unless it's Stu texting me blowing up my phone while I'm streaming.
Well, that's the one exception to the rule. Okay, so let me just preface by saying on the ride there, we're talking about what the Panthers need to do to close this thing out.
Yeah.
And I said to you, I was kind of worried about this game. Right?
Yeah.
The fourth game is always the tough one to get.
Right.
Now, I didn't see these comments about, we take it like every other game. And that's the first thing that I want to bring up from your recap. No. This is the game where they're at home.
Right.
Okay? They got a chance to just close these suckers out.
Right.
And I will say, and I'm sorry if I offend you, Toronto fans, 5-on-5, we're the better team. We're the better team if the Panthers play Panther hockey, which has been that aggressive forecheck,
Right.
crushing guys against the boards, making the defensive men cough it up like we did in the Boston series, like we did in,
Right.
the first few games of this year. The Panthers didn't do that.
Nope.
They did not come out with that fire.
Nope.
And I think like the first period, and I was telling my group here, they're just both teams are just they're playing not to make any mistakes.
Right.
Right. Now I'm sitting in 109, which is right behind the net, row 26.
I gotta mute myself. I gotta sneeze. Keep talking.
All right. So Dana, thank you very much again. You're the best. But I did not see what happened in that first goal. People were telling me, it went off the ref skates. All right. And you're right. That shit happens in the playoffs. That happens in regular games. But so my observations. So I don't think the Panthers came out with the same energy, same passion that they've been playing. It just wasn't there. The second thing, we didn't shoot enough, and that's something else that you brought up in the recap. I don't know how many times I was saying, Barkov, shoot the freaking puck.
You and I were probably screaming it at the same time, bro.
Exactly.
Like, what are you doing?
All game. And especially, we had, 3 power plays?
I think it was 2-2.
Okay. Whether it was 2, I think it was 3, but whatever. He's in that Huberto spot on the left side, man,
Right.
And he's got such a great wrist shot.
I know.
Even if you shoot it and
it
doesn't go in, the goalie's got to make a save, shoot it low, so it bounces off the pads.
Yeah.
And then you got guys in front for the rebound. Okay.
And I don't want to interrupt too much, but that's what I was hoping for the third period, because they're taking away those little short cross-ice passes because they're so desperate, and you shoot the puck. You're not getting the passes through. By the third period, figure it out that the passes aren't working. Shoot the puck and let the rebound be the pass. And if you lose that way, you like Game 4 against the Lightning last year, 50 save shutout. I mean, okay, but we had 50 freaking shots. They were shooting the puck.
Do you know how many shots?
Give me that.
You know how many shots we had last night?
How many?
20-something. You know how many moved blocked?
Yeah, let's forget at least 10 or 15, right?
21. 21 shots were blocked. Eric, we led the league in shots on goal. I think it was 35 or 36.
Right.
Okay?
Right. So you got to give them
that's
some credit.
one of the reasons, the big reason we lost.
And now, a lot of those blocked shots, though, were us, if I see one more toe drag, okay? I mean, a lot of those shots that were at least a half dozen to 10 of those shots that were blocked were us. Instead of just taking the shot, we're waiting and sliding to get into this better position and giving the defender time to get into position as well. So
that was now I saw Monta do that about 6 or 7 times. Yeah. He has it on the right side and then he glides, try and get towards the middle. But the Toronto, man, they've been watching film.
Yeah.
Video, whatever. They know what's coming, but 21 blocks. But the shots on goal, and so obviously the Leafs are facing an elimination, so they're coming out. I did text you early in the game, watch out for Nylander.
Yeah.
In the first 5 minutes of the game, I'm watching this kid, and he's flying. What's great about Nylander is he's really good at the stops and starts, like McDavid. Yeah. He'll go at full speed, have the defenseman come on him, and then he'll stop and go the other way.
Right.
And Nylander was doing that last night, and I said, watch for Nylander. Let's see, another observation. So here's something that I want to add that you didn't make, and that's our defense. I wasn't happy. Obviously, the person whose name I won't mention, he flubbed the puck up 3 times. The thing I hate most about defensemen is when they blindly pass it around the net, back behind the net. That was at least Stahl did it, Eggplant did it. That at least 2-3 times the Leafs guy was behind the net and intercepted it,
Yeah.
causing Bob to have to make, the saves. But I don't really think Bob was. He didn't. It wasn't one of those games where it was a barrage of shots.
Right.
Even though the Leafs had 35 shots, 37 shots, something like that.
Right.
Um,
He did
I
make
don't
the
think
one
it was one
save
of.
on the breakaway.
Yeah,
Remember at the
yeah.
end? Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, brain fart. Face-offs.
Oh, for
Jesus.
sake.
We lost like almost every face-off. I think. Oh,
I
had
could
the
just
stat.
call it like
I had the
and
stat.
it's in the offensive zone. It's just like I just need a sound effect that says and we lose the draw. And we lose the draw.
Toronto won 58%.
God.
Face-offs won 35-25. All right. Oh, shots. Toronto had 37. We had 19.
19.
19 shots. That ain't
Yeah,
going to do it, guys.
That ain't gonna.
It should have been the opposite. It said power play opportunities 3. I don't think Toronto had 7.
7. They did
Oh,
not.
no,
have 7.
that's got to be wrong. I think
Yeah.
I think Toronto had 3 power plays. Obviously, the Marner shot. What I saw, it happened right in front of me. Bob lost his stick.
Yeah.
And I think it was Forsling got the stick in it, but
Right.
Bob wasn't set up yet. He wasn't back in that positioning and whatnot, and that's why that Marner shot came in.
Yeah.
And it was just, it had eyes. It was a low shot.
Right. Well,
And
you know what the key was is they shot it. They didn't wait. They just shot it. And look, I know I'm not taking anything away from Toronto blocking the shots. I'm not. But for frick's sake, Barkov in close somehow doesn't even get a shot off. Bennett again in close can't pull the trigger exactly the way we're used to him being able to do it. Duke had a couple of opportunities. Just he's getting that speed back, but remember that problem he had before last year where he would get so fast that he couldn't cut it in towards the net and he'd end up stuck behind the net because he wasn't cutting in soon enough. And then yes, the blind backhand passes behind the net by our defenseman.
Kiss of death in the playoffs.
It's got it now. Now we can sit here and bitch for another half hour, but it was still only a 1-goal game.
Right. And again, don't take this as bitching. This is a game review. This is my analysis of what I see. Okay. And you can agree with me, disagree with me, but this is my observation. And when I'm at the game, I am extremely focused. And I usually just zero in on players. I thought Matthews was trying so hard, and I think we've learned that we have to shadow that guy. Same with Tavares. So I'm not going to say we've neutralized them, but yes, same thing with Marner. Those 3 guys. But I think the reason why we lost that game, and you said it, we didn't have the passion, the fire. We didn't have that aggressive forecheck where, we start out the game crushing guys. That's what we've been doing. We've been crushing this guy, and no one wants to get hit by Ratko Gudas or Sam Bennett or Matthew. No one wants to get jammed, crushed into the boards. So what happens is, the defensemen, they get it on their stick, and they just got to get it off their stick so they don't get hit after they dump the puck. So, but the other point I want to make is, and I won't call out the person that texted me, the sky's falling. We're going to lose the series. I mean, geez, come on, guys. We won 6 in a row. It was
6 playoff games in a row.
Yes,
you know how hard that is?
Yeah, we were kind of, and we had the streak at the end of the season.
Right. Right.
we were kind of bound to lose. That's why I said I was kind of worried about this game before it started.
Yeah.
Um,
I was worried about it when I was watching the interviews from the players in the day before. Kachuk, there's no pressure on us. We're just taking it like any other game. And you can't do that when you're
Absolutely.
gonna you are not going to eliminate another team if you take it like any other game. I know they're trying to be all like cool and shit like Maurice, but hopefully this was a lesson where they can say what the hell they want in public, but behind the scenes they need to be like, we need to fix this because they
Yeah,
can't.
well,
They can't.
guess who watches those interviews on YouTube?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Toronto players, or guess who might be showing that clip in the locker room?
Right.
Like, okay, guys, we got to come out and bring it. Come on, Toronto was gonna. No one
Right.
wants to get swept. And
Right.
what did we do in that fourth game against Tampa? What did you
We
say? 50 shots.
50 shots.
We
You know,
brought it.
we brought it. Right.
So the third period came. We were down 2-1. Where was the desperation?
Well,
Oh no, we got the our goal midway
yeah.
through. I think there were 9 minutes or
Yeah,
something
there
like
was
that. All
7:47
right,
left. Like
seven,
there's
yeah.
plenty of time
All
left.
right, so there was a 4 minute window
Right.
right after we scored that goal where we should have just turned it up to 80 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour, and played desperation hockey. When we got down to the 3 minute and 10 second mark,
Right.
even though we've done it pulling the goalie, I saw the way we were playing. I'm like, not tonight.
No. No.
Not tonight. All right, so we've lost the game. It's 3-1. There's only been 4 teams in NHL history that have come back from 3-0.
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
not. I'm not
so
worried about this. Right.
it's possible, but it's not going to happen because what's going to happen is I'm sure Maurice laced into these guys, and they're going to come out Friday night in Toronto, and they're going to close it out.
Yeah, I feel confident with that. Look, it's tough to sweep. It just is, and um, I wasn't hearing what I needed to hear before this game. You
And
know,
you didn't see it at
right,
the beginning of the first 5 minutes of the game sets the tone of the game.
right.
And if you look back at all the other games that we've even in the Boston series, we just brought it. We didn't bring it last night. So hopefully, like you said, hopefully they learned a lesson. And
Yeah,
another thing, I really don't like that we had the many days off that we had.
that
Twice.
right twice. Yeah,
Okay. I could see the first time, but
right,
the span between game 3 and game 4, that should
right,
have been, you know,
right.
like day off and then you play the next day.
Yeah, they were
And I'm
definitely a
not,
little.
yeah, I'm not blaming that, but you do lose your intent. That's why when we went into the Boston series without a rest, it was like,
Yeah, right. So look, like you said, like I said last night, um, I'm not gonna panic. I'm not gonna panic, and I'm not gonna respond to panic either. All due respect, I just not. You know, um, you could see that one coming. Toronto, all the pressure was on them, and our guys just you could see it. You could just see it in the pre games, interviews. They just got fat and happy, like somebody said in the comments. And if we go out there and reestablish our forecheck, and look, I mean, Toronto is now going to have some confidence, right? The thing that I would question is that's not really Toronto's game. So, um, how much that's our game. So the point I'm trying to make is how much do they have the gas in the tank to continue to play like that? Because I know we do. So I think you're right. I think we go into Toronto and finish this. That's what needs to happen. You know, if and we'll discuss anything otherwise after the fact.
Now, I obviously I didn't watch the game, but when you said, come on ESPN, did
Oh
you
God,
expect anything else?
dude,
We
no,
are probably the
everybody's
most
been kind of
we are probably
neutral.
the most disrespected team when it comes to pundits, commentators.
I mean,
I mean, I go back to that Mike Rupp, Bissonnette,
right?
John Torchetti thing on NHL Network when it was, the end of the playoff run, and they talked about the Penguins, they talked about the Island, not one mention of the Panthers.
At a TBS
So
and the
so I didn't expect, when you said that, I'm like, that's typical. And they're
TBS
making
and
it
the
seem like
TNT,
the Leafs are up 3-1.
right? Well, the TBS and the TNT guys have been good. They've been good. Um, I, but last night, I mean, it was like Goldie calling a Panther game for the main one guy. I don't remember his name, but I mean the glee when the Leafs would get a chance, and then when the Panthers would get a chance. I mean, it was like Goldie calling a Panther game. It was crazy,
And I'll
but
tell you what really sucks. And I understand, the whole thing about national TV and I think that the NHL should allow the home team broadcasters to broadcast their own
right,
version of the game for the local
yeah,
fans. And it's
right.
not just for the Panthers, it's for every team in the league. I'm sorry, I don't agree with that.
No, I know.
'Cause I
I
I
agree.
love Goldie and Randy and the calls of their game.
Right.
Sometimes they're a little homerish.
Yeah,
But
but it's the home broadcast.
that's to be expected.
Right, right,
So I'll just say to all those fans, if you're a diehard fan, you look at the game like we look at the game, and believe me, we've got it wrong. No one was more critical and talking about getting rid of Maurice and getting
right,
rid of Egbert and making trades, and we got to do this when we sucked. And
right,
up until like a month or so before the season, I was like, the season's over.
right,
So
right,
I
right.
get it wrong. You get it wrong. All the fans get it wrong. But don't say, we suck and the season's over. Look at what we've done in the last month and how we got in the playoffs.
I mean,
And
with
then we beat the best team in
right,
NHL history, even though I
right.
don't think they were. I think the Canadiens dynasty in the late
Yeah,
70s
sure, sure. Yeah,
was the best. But I'm talking record wise.
right.
And you're right. Toronto had the second best record in the league. So don't tell me, I mean, nobody expected us to be in the situation that we're in. So be happy about that. We're still in control of the series. And again, only 4 teams in NHL history have come back from down 3-0. So
Right.
I don't want game 6. First of all, I don't have a ticket for the game yet. I want them to close it out Friday night. I want them to
Yes.
go back to where they played in game 3, where they would
Right.
just, even though it went to overtime, we came out and I didn't watch any of the post game reviews. And I don't even know if I'm going to. I don't know what Maurice had to say, but knowing Maurice,
Basically, no, he was like, well, he told everybody to f and relax. We lost the game. Big deal. We play
okay.
again. So, look, here's all I'll say. And then they beat us by a goal when they were playing their guts out, and we were not playing anywhere near our A game. Just give me the right effort, boys. Like you said, just get back out there, give me the right effort, and create your own damn puck luck.
Look at the Carolina Jersey series. Carolina dominated the first 2 games. They go back to Jersey, and it's like reverse. The Devils killed the Hurricanes in game 3.
In game
In
three,
a
right?
game. Wait,
It was game 3. Yeah.
game? No, no, no. The first game they won. The second game that I don't know when they. I
The
don't know. There
first,
was one game the Devils won like 5
it was
something.
8-4. Yeah.
Yeah, 8-4. Right.
Right.
So what happens? Carolina comes back
Right.
in Jersey.
Yeah. Shut that shit down.
What was that? That was like 5-2, I think.
Yeah. six
So I
one.
mean,
6-1.
we're
Right.
playing We're playing 1-goal games.
Yeah.
It's not like we got. It wasn't 7-2 last night.
Right.
It was 1 goal,
Right.
and we didn't. Oh, the other thing, Eric, we didn't have any puck luck.
Oh no! Look,
And
and
I
that's
knew,
one.
I knew, I knew it was eventually gonna,
Yeah.
kind of turn. Like in life, it
Right.
happens.
Yeah.
We weren't getting those bounces
No.
like we've been getting.
No.
Um,
The bounce. I mean, the puck went off the ref's skate. Right.
yeah,
Right to the guy in front, off of the post, off of Bob's back and in. I mean, that's what's been happening for us.
exactly.
You know what I mean? So look, not gonna panic. We are still one game. We are one win away from the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay, the only one. I won't say it. I won't say it. I'm not
Good.
gonna say it. We're one win away from the Eastern Conference Finals. That's what I'm gonna say.
Listen, and last observation for me.
Yeah, I'm about to
For,
die.
for the most part, the referees are letting the players play.
Yeah, to
I
the
do
point
think
that Carter Verhaeghe can get tackled from behind.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The refs missed 3 blatant penalties on the Leafs. I think they might have missed, penalty on us, a cross check in the
Sure.
crease. But for the most part, maybe they got spoken to and said, we don't want you to interfere and change the course of the game by calling us, skinny penalty.
Right.
So that's good. That's a
No,
good thing.
that is good.
I-
But the
I'm-
Verhaeghe one should have been that. I mean, the dude literally was holding on to him, and then tackled.
Right.
That's the only complaint I have. I'm not saying it would have changed the game because who knows. But I mean, you got to call that because if they're not going to call that, then Toronto can keep doing that. It was weird. I think the first Toronto penalty was a makeup for the Verhaeghe one because it was a weak cross check, but he broke his stick. So I guess they kind of felt like, all right, I guess we got to call this.
Yeah, when that happens, they pretty much have to call it. So
Yeah.
all right, listen,
Yep.
guys, keep the faith, man.
We're fine, man. We're fine. All right. Just don't. Right? I mean, there's not a lot of sweeps. The majority of the time, when a team is up 3-0, what happened last night happens. The one team plays their bloody balls out, and the other team is like, we got 4 chances, and now they got 3. They'll be fine.
And we play good on the road, or I should say, we've been playing good on the road. We're not afraid to play in the other team's barn.
Right. No, it might have worked out just fine doing it this way. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I will. I should be okay for the podcast. I'm gonna go eat and sleep, and then we'll see how that goes. Appreciate all the support, and we'll see you again. I don't know if Kyle and I are working tonight though. Canes and Devils. He might do it himself. We'll see. See how I feel. We'll see you later.